Welcome to Wealth Position. To get you up and running as quickly as possible, this guide will give you an overview of how to use the key features. Over the next few minutes, we will cover navigation, user settings, setting up accounts and categories, entering transactions, creating forecasts, and how to use the dashboard. To navigate to your profile settings, click the user profile icon and click on your email. On this page, you can update information about your profile. You can change your contact details, update your subscription, and manage your data. You can also see which locations you have logged in from and remotely log them out. The first thing you will need to do is set up your initial accounts and categories. Click on Accounts and Categories in the navigation pane. At the top, you will see a summary of 5 main colour-coded sections with all the categories and accounts listed below. The Income and Expenditure sections hold all of your categories. The Asset and Liabilities sections hold all of your accounts, and there is a separate section for opening balances. These sections are shown together, as Wealth Position is designed on an accounting concept called double entry. This makes sure that your transactions are correctly entered and your accounts balance. Wealth Position works all of this out for you, so you don't need to worry about doing anything special, but it's useful to know what's going on in the background. Some default categories and accounts are already set up to give you a hand, but you can change them to fit your needs. You can add and change categories as you go along, so keep things simple to begin with. Ideally, you don't want too many categories, but you should have a separate account set up for each of your banks, investments, credit cards, and loans. Having separate accounts allows you to easily check that balances match your statements. You can use a search bar and filters to quickly find what you're looking for. Each category and account is allocated to a group. If you don't need any of these, just click it and press delete. You can also select multiple items to delete. You will see a warning pop up before you confirm the delete. Just remember, deleting a group, account, or category will also delete all the transactions which are allocated to it. To create a new category or account, click on the New Category Account button. Allocate it to a group. Give it a unique name and click Save to create it. Before you start entering new transactions, you will want to make sure that your starting balance on your accounts are correct. You will see that my bank account here is showing 0. Entering opening balances is similar to manually entering new transactions. Let's now go to the Transactions page. There is an example transaction already included here. You can select it and delete it. To enter the opening balance for my bank account, click on New Transaction. I have decided to only start entering transactions from the 1st of December. Next, pick the account you want to enter the opening balance for. Then select the opening balance category at the bottom of the list. Opening balances are allocated to a separate retained earnings section shown by the R symbol. This ensures that these transactions don't appear in your income and expenditure results. I've looked at my bank statement which shows that the balance was $2,000. Click Save to create the opening balance transaction. I also want to enter an opening balance for my credit card. As I owe money on my credit card, the balance should be entered as -300. At the bottom, you will see a summary of the double entry Wealth Position has calculated for you. You can see that the balance on my credit card was 0, and then I'm entering a movement of -300. For the opening balances category, the starting balance is 2,000, which represents the transaction we previously entered, less the 300 we have entered above. Click Save to create this opening balance. My first transaction in the month was food shopping, so I will enter this too. And then again the following week. You will see that each transaction appears with 2 lines showing the double entry concept. As well as entering individual transactions, you can also import files. To do this, click the Import Transactions button and locate the file you wish to import. The file will be loaded into the editor where you can clean it up before importing. You can make changes such as altering the date formats, specifying columns to use, flipping signs on amounts, and selecting categories. If you filter the transactions for a specific account, you will see the running balance at each date. If you have a premium subscription, you can set synced accounts to automatically download your transactions. You can edit transactions after they have been synced, so you don't have to worry about incorrect data cluttering up your results. First, make sure you have created an account which transactions should be synced to. I will be using the bank account we created before. Click on Synced Accounts. We haven't connected any institutions yet, so the list is empty. Click on Connect New Sync Account. Find your institution. Enter your credentials. Once connected, you will see the accounts from your institution. Click on the synced account you want to link. Select the account you previously created in Wealth Position. I've already entered an opening balance and some transactions, so I will set the sync start date to be partway through the month. You should check that the existing balance showing before the sync start date matches your institution. If the balance does not agree, you will need to reconcile the existing transactions you have entered or enter an opening balance adjustment as shown before. Once connected, your transactions will start to automatically sync. You will see a notification when there are new transactions to categorize. You can click this notification or go to the Transactions page. Synced transactions which need to be categorized will be shown here in date order. To just see these uncategorized transactions and not the ones we previously entered, you can turn on a filter. Automatically generated categories will be suggested for each transaction. You can also enter custom categorization rules from the Options menu. You can select multiple uncategorized transactions and save them with a single click. Turn off the filter to see all of your transactions again. Synced transactions can be identified by the tag. If you change a synced transaction, the tag will say altered. You can also remove synced transactions. This action will just tag them as ignored rather than deleting them, so we can keep in sync with your institution. You can see all the ignored transactions by clicking the filter. Now that we have entered a few transactions, go to your dashboard. The dashboard gives you a summary of your overall results as well as a forecast. The top card shows your actual wealth based on all the transactions entered. The next section is your financial statements, which are made up of 3 parts. Firstly, your income and expenditure. Secondly, your cash flow. This takes your income and expenditure and adjusts for non-cash transactions to calculate your cash movements. And finally, your balance sheet, which shows your assets, liabilities, and wealth over time. You will notice that despite entering our transactions, we aren't seeing any results here. The reason is that Wealth Position gives you control of when actual results should be shown and your forecast should start. As indicated here on your financial statements, the forecast is set to start from 1st of December. All of the transactions we entered were after 1st of December, so that's why we don't see any results. If we change the forecast start date to be 25th December, you will then see all your results appear. You can switch between showing yearly, monthly, and weekly summaries. You can also adjust the date the dashboard will generate results from. You can see on our financial statement that we don't currently have any forecast income or expenditure. To generate the forecast, go to the Forecast Rules page. There is an example rule included here for reference which is turned off. Delete the example rule by selecting it and clicking Delete. To make a new rule, click the New Forecast Rule button. you will see several options for different types of forecast rules. For now, we just want a simple rule, so click on Basic. Enter a name for the rule. Enter the date the rule should start from. I do the food shopping every weekend, so I've entered repeat every 1 week. Leave the end date empty if the rule should continue forever. Next, I will pick the account I used to do my shopping with. Then, pick the supermarket category. Enter an estimate of the weekly spend. Finally, because we want a long-term forecast, I can expect prices to increase every year due to inflation. In most developed countries, inflation is usually around 2% per year, so I will enter a growth rate of 2% every 1 year. Before clicking Save, you will see that a preview of the forecast rule is generated below. If I go 1 year into the future, you will see the spend in the preview increases by 2%. Once you are happy with the forecast rule, click Save. You can always come back and change the rule in the future. So far, we have only included spending. Let's include one more rule for my income. I get paid $4,500 at the end of each month. I pay around 30% of my income as tax, so I will split this rule and include income tax of negative $1,350. I will assume my income increases by 2% every year. Looking at the preview generated, you will see that although my monthly salary is $4,500, I only receive $3,150 in my bank account. I'm happy with this forecast rule, so click Save. Now, go back to the dashboard. You will see how much you are expected to earn and spend in the future, and what your wealth will be over time. You can expand some sections to see more of a breakdown. When you have expanded a section down to a specific account or category, clicking a cell will then open up the transactions or forecast rule making up that amount. Scrolling further down, you will see several charts showing your financial trends. That's all you'll need to know to get started. There are lots of other features we haven't covered here. The best way to get going is to dive right in. Check out the help and information section for more details. Thank you for using Wealth Position.